Hello and welcome back to Fiance Farm. This is technically episode 3. You'll notice in the top right hand corner it's 11 AM because Orla and I have tried to do an intro 3 times, and we're a little bit awkward, and we've had some technical difficulties with Orla's laptop because it's a Mac and it's inherently terrible. But
No.
yeah, look,
No, this is propaganda against MacBook.
Like, I don't need propaganda against Mac. Everyone knows how bad they are. But yeah, this is day 6 with my favorite fiance. One of many, of course. One of many. And yeah, I suppose we're still very much at the start of Stardew Valley. The gameplay is what it is, really. We were like Orla and I were talking about it earlier. We know what we're at, we know going back and over, left to right, up and down. We know what we're doing. It just is a little bit slow at the start of this game. But yeah, hopefully, if the gameplay isn't the best, I suppose, it should be greatly improved. So I'm recording in full screen. There's no taskbar appearing here at the bottom. There's no taskbar here at the top. The resolution should be better, so hopefully the overall quality is improved from episode 1 and 2. We also have a little bit of an agenda, I suppose. Episode 1 and 2, we were really just figuring out how to record. Orla's first time recording, my first time doing, a co-op recording. But we actually have stuff we want to talk about this evening, don't we, Orla?
Yeah.
So, in episode 1, I mentioned, well, I think actually you said it, Orla. You're not much of a gamer in terms of, you only play certain games, and, you kind of burn out sometimes when you play these games. And I think Stardew Valley is probably the game that you've played the most, and you've the most hours in. But you also had a really good stint with Fortnite, and it wasn't really because you love Fortnite, right? It's the Avatar: The Last Airbender update. So that's the last time Orla and I played Fortnite together. It's the most I've seen Orla play games. It's the most I've seen Orla excited about a game, other than Hogwarts Legacy and Stardew Valley. And now, I think this month, well, I would assume so because it's October and Halloween. This month, Fortnite have a Scooby-Doo Halloween haunted battle pass, I guess is what you'd call it. And I think Orla's excited to maybe get some Scooby-Doo skins.
Yeah, it's I hate that I get sucked in by Fortnite with the skins. I absolutely hate that they are successful with the people who know how to do their job and they want to draw me in every time. But like James said, Avatar: The Last Airbender was the last time that I really had an interest in playing Fortnite, and that is because I really struggle with games that I have to choose, which is why I wouldn't really go for Battle Royales. And Avatar: The Last Airbender, when that was out, it was because everyone was, I suppose, using their elements and stuff like that. So there wasn't any gun shooting really involved. And if anything, the use of the elements was better than guns. So I loved that, and I really, really enjoyed that. And even so much so that my siblings actually gifted me skins which I didn't own before. So I think I got Katara and Zuko was the other one I got. They would probably be two of my favorite characters in Avatar. But yeah, Scooby-Doo. I am a huge Scooby-Doo nerd, and it is actually kind of embarrassing how much I love it. And this year I've really leaned into my Scooby-Doo love, and actually in the last year James and I have started collecting more DVDs. We've just been more I suppose media wise, where we're kind of sick of services and being addicted and holding too much faith, I suppose, in the internet for our entertainment. So we've started investing in DVDs, and one of the kind of I suppose, main genres DVDs that I've been trying to build up on are like the old Scooby-Doo movies, like the animation movies, because I used to watch those religiously as a child, and the TV show as well. I used to quite love all the TV shows. But we really leaned into that maybe starting towards the end of the summer. Obviously, the stock for I suppose in CEX and stuff like that has changed over to more autumnal stuff.
Mhm.
And my birthday was in September, and so I asked for there was a new Scooby-Doo young adult novel. I asked for that, and I asked for
What's it?
specific DVDs.
What's it called again?
A Rogue Thorn. It's actually it's the Hex Girls, but obviously the Hex Girls are in. But it is based in the Scooby-Doo world, and oh, I asked for specific DVDs because obviously, as anyone who's like a DVD hunter, the better the movie, the harder it is to get the DVD because people are reluctant to let it go. So, like, my favorite Scooby-Doo movie is the Scooby-Doo and the Witches. Is incredibly hard to find secondhand. Like, you find all the weird and funky Scooby-Doo movies, but you'll never find a Ghost or Cyber Chase, which would be another kind of fan favorite in CEX and stuff like that. So I asked for kind of like my top. There was like a box set of Scooby-Doo movies on Amazon, and I asked for that for my birthday. So James got me the box set, and then my sister got me this gorgeous cardigan for my birthday as well. That has the Hex Girls on it. That was so I was absolutely spoiled in all my Scooby-Doo gifts this year for my birthday, and yeah, just like really pumped for the Scooby-Doo skins in Fortnite. Daphne's my favorite character. I love Daphne. I do love the Hex Girls as well. Do you know what? It's really tough for me to not love any of the characters. The one character and in some movies I quite like Velma. How she's depicted in the show is very annoying, and I do struggle with her a lot just because I love obviously the fantasy side of Scooby-Doo, and she's the more realism
the scientific
side of
one.
Scooby-Doo, where she's just
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just like she's more like, oh, it's a man in a mask, where I do love the Scooby-Doo movies where the magic or the sci-fi,
it's real. Yeah.
there's actually a monster, you know, or a ghost or whatever.
Yeah.
So I do struggle with Velma, but I do love all the other characters. And yeah, I'm pumped, even though it's still guns, I'm still pumped to play Fortnite and get my skins. So I'll probably get the Daphne skin. And there's a few like backpacks and emotes and stuff like that that are they're just so cool. And I feel like I am gonna buy into it a little bit, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, something that Orla mentioned, and something that's a little bit relevant today as well, is well, technically yesterday. Today is the 11th of October, but the Orla and I are getting back into purchasing physical media. You know, DVDs. Basically any video game I've bought for the PlayStation 5 has been physical. I got the PS5 with the disc drive for a reason, and it's because of what Orla was kind of describing. Is you know, we had a family movie night. We wanted to watch Oppenheimer. We wanted to watch what's the space one called, Orla? Interstellar. We wanted to watch Interstellar. We wanted to watch Oppenheimer, and we share our streaming services. So, you know, we might have Disney Plus and Prime, and Orla's parents might have Netflix and Now TV, just for example, right? We went across all of our streaming services, and we couldn't find the movie we wanted to watch. We could get it on Prime, yeah, absolutely, for €7. And it's like, lads, I'm already paying for all these streaming services, and the one movie I want to watch, I can't fucking watch. Like, what's this about? So, as Orla and I are saving for a house, you know, every little helps. We've really dialed back on our streaming services, and just you know, started investing in physical media again, because we're paying all this money, forking out all this cash for streaming services, and then we can't watch the movies that we want to watch. Like in particular, like, you know, the kind of older movies from our childhoods. You know, you can't find Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost really anywhere without paying money. Mm-hmm. And why is that relevant to the 10th of October? Why is that relevant to today? I think Battlefield 6 has come out. I'm really hoping that our internet can hold up so that I can maybe get it and play it online. But I read online that the Battlefield 6 disc, you can run the game entirely off the disc. And that's huge. For someone who lives in a rural area, it's become commonplace that I buy a game, physical or digital, whatever. I download the game or I put the disc in the machine, and it's a 4-hour download, 4-hour upload or update, I should say. And you're like, lads, I've just forked out €50 for this game. Why can't I just put it in the magic box and have it work? For God's sake, Like what am I supposed to do if I just don't have internet? Like, am I just not supposed to play the game I've just bought from the shop? And I'm just really impressed with Battlefield. Haven't played it, haven't watched any review videos. I think it's had a good release. I think people are happy with it. But the fact that we're seeing developers, like with the new Call of Duty, I think it has a download of like 120 gigs plus. It's a huge download. If your console is 500 gigs, that means you can only really get like, 3 or 4 120 gig games, because your storage is just wiped out basically. So the fact that Battlefield can just operate off the disc alone I'm really impressed by that. And it's hopefully a kind of a turning point in the industry where developers are now starting to optimize their file size. Like if your game takes up more than 100 gigs on my console, I'm simply not going to install your game. 2 reasons. It takes me an absolute age to install it and download all the updates required. And 2, I have to delete half of my library just to install your game. It's not happening, lads. It's just not happening. I'm like, sack Call of Duty, I'm gonna go and play Stardew Valley and Minecraft because they take a combined space of 10 gigs, And I'm really, really hoping that this new Battlefield is a trend in the industry, where more and more developers are starting to optimize their discs and stuff like that, because it is just a little bit of a joke, really, where games are at currently. So yeah, that's my rant over, Orla. You can start talking again. But like, for real, like I've said it before in a couple of my videos, like, not everyone is, a lot of us work, a lot of us have, a little bit of spare time in the evenings. Like Orla and I don't have kids. Like if Orla and I had young kids, we wouldn't be able to do this. We wouldn't be able to record playing video games together. I work with a couple of guys, they finish work, they have dinner, they put their kids to bed, and then, they might play a couple games of Halo, or they might play a couple games of FIFA with their mates. And it's like, if I need to do a 2-hour update, I finish work, I turn on my PlayStation, and there's an update, and it's 10 gigs. Lads, I'm just gonna go to bed. I'm not dealing with that. Like, it's just not happening. And hopefully, game developers are starting to cop on a little bit with that. And yeah, hopefully. So, I suppose in the spirit of what Orla was talking about, Scooby-Doo and the Fortnite update, it's not just Scooby-Doo. There's a lot of Halloween references in there. I think, is it Friday the 13th is in there, Orla? And the Scream mask and stuff you were saying?
I don't know about Friday the 13th, but I know... Oh, there is a Friday the 13th emote. I don't know if Michael Myers is Michael Myers Halloween or Friday the 13th?
I think Friday the 13th is the one with the ski mask, isn't it? I don't know. I don't...
Yes. Sorry, yeah.
The guy with the ski mask, he's in Fortnite, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But there's definitely an emote where it's like a calendar and it's like Thursday the 12th and then like someone cuts it with like an axe and it turns to Friday the 13th.
Okay. Cool,
So there's
cool.
that, and then there's 100% Scream. Scream's the big one for like the kind of, I suppose, monster. Like there's a few like costumey ones, but the Scream's obviously the big one.
Yeah.
Wednesday, there's a Wednesday character skin, whatever.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I don't know what else. I'm trying to think what else. I can't really remember. Obviously, I was more focused on the Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
But
the I guess the point I'm making is this update isn't just Scooby-Doo. It's Halloween.
No, it's not. They've just very cleverly, I suppose, added a more child-friendly kind of horror theme, if that makes sense. Like Scooby-Doo isn't exactly your normal horror, so kids can kind of get behind it.
Absolutely. And I think it's smart as well from it's Warner Bros, isn't it? Scooby-Doo.
Yes,
so
it is.
I think it's quite clever from the Scooby-Doo side of things, where how do you reach a young audience today? You know, so like you and I grew up with like Cartoon Network, Orla. Like we didn't have Fortnite skins. We didn't have YouTube to, you know, like, so when we were in Scotland, this is part of the point I'm making. When we were in Scotland, my little brother, he's 5 turning 6, and it's all TikTok, right? It's all TikTok. It's all 99 Nights in the Forest. It's Steal Your Brain Rot, all this kind of thing. Like kids, Roblox, yeah, exactly. Like kids, at least from what I can see, kids don't watch cartoons like you and I watch cartoons, Orla. And, you know, Scooby-Doo, I think, has been in decline. You see it with The Simpsons, you know, like cartoons or TV shows that were part of our childhood aren't really prominent in, you know, my little brother's age group.
I would agree with you to some degree, but I do think Scooby-Doo is one of those cartoons that actually, like now that we've been like, I've been taking more like, let's say, modern day Scooby-Doo media, it definitely, every year there seems to be like a movie made or a TV show re-released, or so it's definitely one of those cartoons. Like it's not like SpongeBob's a bad example. SpongeBob still does quite well, but like I'm trying to think off the top of my head of another cartoon. Like I'm just trying to think of a cartoon. Like what's the one with the dragon? What was God, this is a terrible example. I'm trying to think.
Orla's fumbling, boys. Or she's choking. She's choking the YouTube recording. She's choking.
No, but what's the one, like, there's a few I'm thinking of at the top of my head of like Chowder's another one that's coming to my head, or oh, I'm trying to, this is really like
anyway, I'll go back. Kids. You have a think of yeah, I know the one. My Imaginary Foster Home or something like that. I've got that completely wrong. I know the one you mean.
What my point was is that they have never been remade, and they lasted maybe like 4 or 5 years streaming on Cartoon Network. Scooby-Doo came out in the 60s, and there's still,
it's timeless. Like, no, of course it is.
A Netflix adaptation coming out in the next few years, so like it's definitely one of those things that it's a bad example for you to turn around and say that it's not hitting the current generation.
No, but I think it. This is the point I'm trying to make. Is I don't think it is. I think their traditional strategy of how do we reach our audience, because Scooby-Doo is, you know, a younger person's show. How do we reach our audience? And the strategy for our generation was you put it on Cartoon Network, you put it on Nickelodeon, you put it on Boomerang, right? What I'm trying to say is the creators of Scooby-Doo, Warner Bros, have acknowledged that they have to change their strategy. Stuff that worked 20 years ago doesn't work anymore. Someone who's 5 or 6, like my brother, doesn't watch Cartoon Network. He watches TikTok, and he plays Fortnite, and etc, etc. So I think the creators of Scooby-Doo, Warner Bros, whatever, they're being really smart by tying Scooby-Doo into Fortnite, because it's reaching an audience that they probably weren't reaching before. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that Scooby-Doo is like a dying thing.
No, I get you.
It's a really good strategy from that, because it's mutually beneficial. Like, obviously Fortnite are going to make money off these skins. Obviously, you know, it's really smart for Fortnite to have their Halloween Spooktober vibes be Scooby-Doo. Really clever. but it's also beneficial for Warner Bros. Because you're going to get a new wave of kids being like, that's the thing from Fortnite. Like, oh my god, there's a new Scooby Doo movie. That's like that Fortnite game I play. And they're gonna go to the cinema. They're gonna watch the new Netflix show. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like a new wave of exposure to kids that they weren't reaching before.
To add to that, and what we were talking about earlier about physical media, there is a lot of mothers I see on TikTok, that have started returning to physical media as well, even like as far back as like VHS.
Yes.
And it's really, really beneficial, it seems, for younger generation kids again who are now, like you said, streaming. Like, the fact is that Scott, which is James' younger brother, will come across Scooby-Doo probably through Fortnite before ever Cartoon Network, or I don't even know if Cartoon Network's still a thing, but you know what I mean. Like, he'll find Scooby-Doo through Fortnite before Netflix even.
That's exactly the point I'm making. Yeah.
Yeah. So the physical media then is bringing that back and having that be popular again. Stops this constant scrolling for children. Like, we've seen it with your brother. Like, he was like, it was constant. He was going the whole time with like, whether it was reels or whatever, like, and the physical media kind of making a comeback again that way stops that. And it's good. Like, and like I said, I see a load of mums on TikTok that especially like, because what people use like iPads and stuff like that for their kids now is like when they're traveling or they're like maybe at an event that isn't really super catered for kids and stuff like that. I find it beneficial to have like a screen in front of them to keep them quiet. So what a lot of moms are doing are they're getting those old, remember those screen things, what were they called? Like the little car TVs that we used to have. Did you ever have those?
The portable DVD players as well. I see a few videos of that.
They're making a huge comeback again, and parents are giving those to their kids, and it prevents them from scrolling onto stuff that maybe they're not supposed to see. Like, YouTube Kids is probably more disturbing than any kind of like Scooby-Doo, like even more adulty themed Scooby-Doo movie with like adult jokes and stuff like that. YouTube Kids is honestly terrifying. So it prevents kids from seeing stuff they're not supposed to see. Like, TikTok and YouTube creators, like, is that the word, creators? The ones that like make sure that nothing's like stepping out from the guidelines. They can only work so fast. So there are chances that children can see stuff that they're not supposed to see, but having physical media prevents all that. So I just wanted to like tie that back in.
Absolutely.
Quite good that way.
Like again, Arla and I don't have kids, right? So we're speaking. We're speaking from a reference point of a younger brother or a younger sister, and our own experiences of, we grew up without, I got my first smartphone when I was like 15, 16. This, like, my brother's generation, my younger sister's generation, they have had smartphones from a much younger age. So again, Arla and I are speaking about having kids and the influences of stuff on kids that we don't have, but we do have some sort of context. We're not like bashing parents for, oh god, you shouldn't let your kid on an iPad when you're at dinner with your husband. We're not saying that at all. We're just speaking about things that we've observed in our siblings and stuff. But I think you're right, Orla. Like, we see it in the UK recently. This whole online ID thing under the guise of, we need to protect the children. Let's protect our kids from, horrible people online, we'll say, right? And it's like, yeah, but you're not controlling what they're seeing in terms of like TikTok and YouTube Kids and stuff like that. So it is I think it's a really good way to ensure you can control what your kid is seeing. And I'm talking like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. I'm not saying, a 16-year-old should have their mum controlling what they see. Ideally, some sort of control, but I'm talking about young kids. If you have a physical DVD, you can guarantee your kid isn't seeing some dodgy shit, whereas
you're making sure that the values align with certain things as well. Like I said, YouTube Kids, like, really, like, it's disturbing, like, honestly, because I've seen it with like, your brother and my younger cousin as well. Some of the stuff they're watching is actually, as an adult, I am Like that's terrifying or that's disturbing, and like I'm an adult seeing that. Like no mind what that's doing to impressionable kids. So like the values aren't aligning. Like a lot of stuff is like murder and different things like that are going on. Like they're learning words like kill and die and like how people kill and die at a very very like 4, 5, 6 age group, which is a little bit too young. I think there's a good understanding of death is seeing characters kill other characters, and it's not exactly like, yeah, it's just very weird, like, and I feel like those kind of values being taught to a child, um it's not good. Like I feel like the is it Gen Alpha or like the current kids at the moment, they're going to be very interesting um generation to watch grow up in how they've been like viewing violence and different things like that versus to what we had growing up. So it's a little like that. I don't completely agree with like 100% control, especially when you're over the age of like 11, 12. Really, like a child should have more of a say, and then by the time you're 16 definitely should have more of a say in the media that they're intaking. But like a 5-year-old shouldn't be seeing certain things. So yeah, seeing the media kind of come back that way is great. I'm really enjoying it as well. I think even like with current kind of, especially like I suppose with Harry Potter, like everything that's going on with J.K. Rowling, I've owned the Harry Potter DVDs for years. Like I got them years and years ago, and now I can partake in watching Harry Potter without feeling the guilt of giving J.K. Rowling money and money going into anti-trans movements just because I'm watching a DVD at home. So it's definitely helped with stuff like that, and yeah, it's just not being online the whole time. Like it's just nice.
Mm. And something I was thinking about when you were talking there is like we're saying like young kids shouldn't be seeing this kind of thing. Like that's hilarious for me to say, because like growing up I was playing Grand Theft Auto, you know, from a young age. I was watching movies with my parents that per the guidelines I shouldn't have been watching. You know, per the guidelines. I enjoyed the movies and stuff like that, you know. It's not like they scarred me for life or anything. But the point I want to make is like DVDs like have ratings, you know, even going to the cinema. Like, you know, it flashes up at the start of the movie, you know, this movie is 12A. It's been approved by a board to say it's 12A. You know, this movie is 18 plus. The film, you know, the organization that determine what a film is or is not, it's gone through that matrix. It's gone through a review to say, right, that scene's a bit heavy for kids, so we're going to make it 12A, not 12, right? The point I'm trying to make is with movies, with physical media, you have standards. There are people, humans, that are reviewing the content well in advance of it being released to the public to say, this is for kids, this isn't, that's inappropriate, that's not. Do you know what I'm saying? We have standards, we have a list to say this is that and this is whatever. But with TikTok, it's that goes right out the window. Do you know what I mean? I know there's community guidelines. Oh, you can't upload that video, it breaks our terms and conditions, whatever. And the video gets taken down. There are a lot of subliminal messages in some of these videos, you know, like there's, you know, implied messages and stuff, and that does slip through the cracks. That 100%, there's ways to trick the algorithms, you know. So like nudity, for example, there's ways to get around the not safe for work filters on TikTok, in Reddit, on Instagram, whatever, where, you know, you could basically have a person who's naked, and that's inappropriate for young children, but you can blur it in such a way, or you can, you know, transition the video quick enough that it isn't caught by the systems in place. But like, you know, all that goes out the window when you know, give your kid a phone and just let them scroll. Like, I've recently just installed TikTok, and it's really interesting to see kind of in real time how my algorithm is reacting to me. because I had Facebook before Reels, or whatever the Facebook version is. I had Instagram before Reels became a big thing. So it's almost like my search, my my social media habits evolved with my algorithm at the same time. And it's like I've been lured into my own algorithm, if you get what I mean. Whereas with TikTok, because I've only just installed it, I know what I like now. I like watching Space Marine videos. I like watching fishing videos. I like watching, planes or cars or DIY videos. So like it's really cool to see my algorithm evolve with my likes already established, if you get what I'm saying. But if you're 5 years old, you don't. It's not that you don't know what you like, but there's certain videos that are targeted to keep your interest. To keep your attention. These kind of videos that suck you in or whatever. And before you know it,
that's what I was trying to say about the YouTube Kids, though, is that YouTube Kids seem to be really like pushing those guidelines of, hey, YouTube Kids focus on like color and like characters and like childish things. But so what they do is colorful cartoon character that speaks like a little kitty, and then they're saying the most atrocious things. As long as they're not using the bad words, they're keeping into the YouTube Kids algorithm of, a colorful character that's like childish, like we'll show that then to this 5-year-old, and it ends up being something that's obviously not good for them to be seen.
Yeah. And something that I just thought of, where are you, Orla, actually, before I say it?
I was just at the community centre. I'm literally just about to come home.
Okay, so we're coming up on half an hour, so I think we'll finish it soon. I think we'll sleep tonight and then we can start another video. We'll just stop it here. But what I want to finish on is, while you were talking about that kind of stuff and the influence it has on kids, it made me think of Bluey. And like as adults, like Orla and I are both over the age of 25. Orla and I, with no kids, no little cousins in the house, whatever. Orla and I watched Bluey ourselves. We watched Bluey start to finish when we had Disney Plus. We absolutely love Bluey, and it's kind of like the Battlefield thing. I hope it's a turn in the industry where, like, my little sister, who's now 18, when she was a kid, she used to watch Peppa Pig. And like Peppa Pig she's a little shit. Like, she really is. Like, Peppa misbehaves. And we've got a cutscene here. Peppa misbehaves where she says no to Daddy Pig and Mommy Pig. And the way my sister used to say no, the way Amy used to say no, was exactly the same way that Peppa would. She picked that up off Peppa. So like, we're singing the praises of physical media here, but like, it's not always perfect, And all right, Clint, man, I don't want to talk to you. Like, get out of my face. Come on, like, just let me go. Like Bluey is hopefully this kind of turn in the industry where you can tell the producers of Bluey are trying to teach kids good messages. Like almost every episode has a good message for parents and for kids. So like Orla and I are watching an episode of Bluey, and like the adult messages that are coming through are phenomenal. Like, like give your kid an opportunity to talk. Make sure your kid is heard. Make sure your kid is, feels loved. When your kid is feeling lonely, go to them and care. It's so amazing to see these messages coming through a TV show that's designed for kids. You're like, you and Orla watch a kids show. Like, oh wow, you're so immature. Bluey is so mature, and it's so refreshing to see that like this could potentially be the future of kids' TV shows. Is these lovely messages of patience and kindness and waiting your turn to speak and making sure that nobody's left out. All these wonderful messages for kids are coming through Bluey. Whereas, like, when my sister was growing up, she was watching Peppa. It was just keep the kid entertained. Just make sure the kid is watching the screen. Give mum and dad a break. As long as Peppa's on, my sister's quiet, that's a win for the parents, you know? But the messages that Peppa was teaching my sister weren't great. Like, they had to go back and edit old Peppa episodes because in the original versions, Peppa didn't wear a seatbelt. So kids across the UK were refusing to wear their seatbelts because, well, Peppa doesn't, so I'm not. And the producers of Peppa Pig had to go back and edit those videos to include a seatbelt on Peppa, you know? So, like, I suppose what I'm trying to say is there's media out there, physical or digital, that appears to be quite harmful to kids. We don't know the effects of TikTok, etc. on kids as they're developing, as their brains are growing. As Orla said, it's going to be really interesting to see the impact of current social media on the developing generation. But I'm hopeful that shows like Bluey become more prominent and our governments and stuff start to get a handle on reels and what kids have access to. Not this fucking, you need a digital online identity to access porn. Mate, I'm a fucking adult, right? I shouldn't have to scan my face to access the internet. But I do agree that we need to try and look after our kids a little bit more because some of the stuff they've access to is concerning, you know? Look, we started our video at 11 a.m, Orla, because we took ages to get our fucking intro right. We're once again now we're taking ages to get our outro. So yeah, look, I think we'll leave it here. We'll continue playing. It's just to keep the videos to, you know, half an hour. It makes it a little bit easier for me to edit as well, so I'm not like basically cutting an hour and a half of footage into little bite-sized pieces. So yeah, look, I hope you enjoyed this this podcast from two people without kids talking about kids. But I think we are right, at least somewhat, in what we're saying. I hope you enjoyed it, and look, tune in for the next episode. I'm sure we'll have something else to talk about that's hopefully interesting. So, yeah, we'll leave it here, guys. Do you want to say goodbye, Orla?
Yeah, watch Scooby-Doo, guys.
Bye.
I'll see you on Fortnite, my bros.
Yeah. Buy physical media, play Fortnite, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much for listening.